Yes, we're still keeping Benue very much on the front burner this morning. And yes, that's the Senate spokesperson, Senator Adara Modu, speaking on what he believes, or what the Senate believes needs to be done with the issue in Benue. And you heard him say that they're tired of condolence visits, even though, well, the president has decided to pay one to the people of Benue State this morning. Well, also joining us on the program, we have Mr. Laolu Akande, who is a former presidential aide. And Mr. Laolu, it does appear this particular issue, this issue from Benue and Plateau, were really big headaches for the Buhari administration, because at the time, the fact that the president was of the Fulani ethnic origin also complicated how people thought he handled the situation in Benue. Well, now we have a situation where the president is not Fulani, and yet it does appear that the narrative hasn't quite changed. Is there something, this is a narrative, though, that is being resisted by the people of Benue, that this is not what is happening. So it's unclear what exactly is going on. Do you think that there is sufficient intelligence, or is it that we're not quite seeing the picture? Because when the president, well, reiterates his directive to the security chiefs to implement his earlier directive as if they willingly flouted it, which, you know, calls to question a lot of things. I mean, that statement is pregnant with meaning. Right. But then the president also speaks to the governor of the state, asking him to convene reconciliation meetings, right, and dialogue among warring parties to end the incessant bloodshed and bring lasting peace. This is basically what people have said. There are no warring parties here, that this was basically an attack on a vulnerable community. What exactly informs this sort of narrative coming from the presidency?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that it is reasonable to assume that to the extent that the people who are being subjugated and harassed and killed also once in a while will try to assert themselves, you know, which is what is then described as a reprisal attack. But I think that anybody that is suggesting that what is happening is not a consistent onslaught against the people of Benue by some certain intruders, you know, anybody that is denying that is quite, you know, just being ridiculous. What is happening in Benue, you know, and to some extent in Plateau, is a sustained attack on the people in those places. In this particular case, Benue, it's a sustained attack over the years, persistent. And as a matter of fact, it would seem that those who are behind the attack have an agenda. There is a particular goal that they are seeking. Okay, so that is the real thing. Now, people call it all kinds of names in order to deflect the issues for all, you know, reasons, ethnic reasons, political reasons, to politically correct. What is happening in Benue is that that part of the country has been under a sustained, consistent onslaught for several years, where essentially the people in the state are being killed, their land being taken over by intruders. Finish. Now, there are other dimensions, you know, of conflict, you know, yes, of course, there are elders and farmers clashes are also, you know, there somewhere, you know, but the main picture of what is happening to anybody who wants to have an objective look is that, look, the people of Benue are under a sustained, ongoing, persistent, prevalent attack against the people and their land.
Just to, you know, also put it in context, I understand that now there's been an update on because initially I think it was 2 days ago, the governor came out to say that about 59 people were said to have lost their lives. He did also say that it was an ongoing count, and right now they can confirm that 151 persons were killed in the Yelwata attacks, with 127 persons buried. 18 persons yet to be buried, 2 in the mortuary at the teaching hospital, while 4 more corpses were recovered from the bushes. Meanwhile, the number of those burnt in the attacks is uncertain due to recovery challenges. So this figure we're looking at, this 151 we're looking at, does not include those who were burnt, who were charred beyond recognition. So one has to ask the question, what precisely will be the motive of people like this? I mean, what will push people to kill people in such an inhumane manner?
And very gory, you know. I think we should shift the attention on those whose duty it is to provide for the security and welfare of the people. Okay, that is what we should, because this has been going on. Of course, it inflicts our humanity. It's an onslaught. It's an assault on our consciousness, on our awareness as human beings. Each time that it happens, this is a very gory picture. But this has been going on forever. So we have to continue to put the blame where it has to be. Those of them in government, both at the state and federal level, particularly at the federal level, who control security, they have to stop this. I heard what Mr. Aleva from the United Kingdom said, that look, I mean, it's as if everybody is conspired against the people of Benue. You know, that is the impression. And to the extent that I mean, those of us who are not from those regions, we must also raise our voices. Our leaders outside of politics must raise their voices. What is going on in Benue is something that should bother everyone. And
because today it is Benue, and we don't know whose turn it will be next.
We don't know. We don't know. And this is why we are human beings. You know, this is why we are not animals. We show concern about the welfare of other people that are around us. We can see these things. We hear this news. We read it. We see the videos. It's all over the place. It's important for everyone to call the government that, look, when is it going to be over? What is the problem that we have with government not being able to solve this thing? From my own experience, it seems that the single most important person in this crisis is the president, the office of the president. And you are right. You know, in the 2015 and 2023, when I served, I worked with the vice president, we expected that, okay, you know, President Buhari, being a Fulani man, will be able to talk to his people and bring exactly kind of authority to end it. He did his own little best, but was it enough? The ball is now in the court of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to rise up in courage and boldness. The office of the presidency in Nigeria is powerful enough to get this thing over.
What would you like to see? As the president goes to Benue today, what would you like to see?
Well, I mean, two important things are, you know, number one, these killings have been going on, you know, and we don't see arrest, we don't hear of arrest, we don't hear of prosecution, and so there is a reign of impunity. So what is happening? Why aren't people being arrested? Why aren't people being charged to court? Why don't we see the trial so that we know that there is impunity? And that goes to the head of the issue. So there is injustice. And so because of that injustice, you see that the people that are supposed to be protected by the state are exposed. And then those who are behind this violence, they are encouraged. They keep doing it. They keep doing it. They just attack anytime. Look, in the last, between February and now, I understand that there must have been almost close to 1,000 people that have been missing, killed, you know, burnt, all kinds of ways that people's lives have been wasted. That is not a joke. Now, all these things are going on because, first of all, there's no law enforcement. There's no law enforcement. There is no prosecution. We have not heard that anybody has been jailed. You know, I mean, the chief of defense staff spoke yesterday, and I think that shows that somebody is thinking. I said that, look, maybe we have to start to give security training to the youth of the place. Because, that is a man that is thinking. I wish that the president can also rise up and say, look, let us stop. It's not about the president telling the governor not to go to convey reconciliation. Yes, there should be reconciliation, but the first thing that has to happen is that let us show that there is justice. Let us enforce the law. Let us protect the people. And then We will have reconciliation. But the president cannot be asking the governor to bring about reconciliation when the president is in control of the instrument of force, and they can use those instruments of force to protect the people.
Well, you know, this conversation will certainly go on, because we know that, well, when the president visits today, there certainly will be reactions that will come out of it. The people of Benue are expectant, and we certainly, I think at some point there must be a line drawn in the sand to say, look, so far and no farther. Because really, I mean, how can we lose 151 persons and we're still counting in one night, in one fell swoop, in one little community?
And it has been happening like that since
consistently.
February.
It is heart-rending. It's very difficult to talk about even as a journalist, but let us hope that, you know, this will be the start of things done differently in Benue State. We have to thank you very much for coming on, Mr. Laolu Akande. He's a former presidential aide. We certainly will be bringing you live pictures from Benue much later today, so please stay tuned here on Channels Television. We have to thank you for watching. On top of the hour is Business Morning. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf.
And I'm Ayo Makine. Those very thoughts of our people in Benue.